What's up? This is Tom Work. This is our debut of our new podcast, Verbaliz. We're going to be covering the standardization of subgenres within hip-hop. And I'm Tom Work.
I'm C-Bay.
And yeah, let's get it cracked. Alright, so anything you want to start off with?
I'm pissed, but not for real.
Hey, I would be too.
But I do, in an all serious note, I do think that it is a serious issue that I'm going to say the word stifle, but for those who ain't getting it on the PG scale, I think that it puts a barrier in between what people can really go do and achieve if they are trying to, publicize themselves as a hip hop artist. Mm-hmm. Because without there being a real definition of it, you get this very, very saturated, overly saturated SoundCloud and YouTube and, so on and so forth kind of thing going on to where, it's confusing almost.
Yeah, absolutely. It even comes down when it even comes down to booking shows and shit. You say the words hip hop, you say the words hip hop, and everybody automatically assumes just one thing. They don't assume lyrical hip hop. You don't hear people say that. When you go over to other genres like rock, they got alternative rock, smooth rock, soft rock, and you go to metal, they got fucking Celtic metal, they got all sorts of shit over there. And then you come to hip hop and everybody is supposed to be either from the 90s or a trap artist. And that's
the only
it.
separation is age groups. Everybody 30 and up is a hip hop show?
The old heads.
About to go see Styles P.
Exactly.
The Locks, homie.
What you mean the Locks ain't playing? Who Lil Yachty?
You get 20 and younger and they listen to Young Trash Bag.
Mm-hmm. Little Salt.
Yeah. Little Salt and featuring Pepper. It's a short homie that bounces around, but yeah, it creates a problem that, we're all fighting to get this trophy for this one thing almost, and it makes an absurd amount of competitive what's the word I'm looking for? I get my English together before we do this shit.
Mm-hmm.
It makes a competitive atmosphere that is almost unnecessary. Even in a personal connotation, been to shows, I'm more of towards the conscious spectrum of hip hop, and they put me on stage with a bunch of individuals who are, more of
what I consider to call new age hip hop, where it's not necessarily focused around substance other than abusing them.
Yeah.
And it takes away from the whole, because my few people who come to the show, their expectation is something different because I'm there. And even for on the other side of it, for the other guys, more new age people, or even anyone who's there doing anything other than what is supposed to be traditional 100% standardized hip hop. Anybody doing anything outside of that, it's a whole show of up and down, and I don't know if I'm supposed to stand or sit or what's going on this part. And
yeah, for real.
This guy's singing Kumbaya, and the next guy's telling me to bounce my ass, and I'm just fucking I'm
confused, man.
I'm confused as hell.
You can't be doing this to me.
But you literally don't really run into that in other styles of music and other genre of music. When you go to Time was saying, you go to a fucking, if you have the desire to go to a fucking Celtic death metal fucking show or shit,
it's a real thing.
You went there for Celtic fucking death metal.
Mm-hmm.
But we were just saying, if I'm saying it comes to this hip hop show, there's a broad ass spectrum of interpretation to be had with that. And I think that it shies people away from it.
Absolutely.
Every walk, every age group, because you don't know exactly what you're in for. You're one of those old head super haters that just hates everything that before 99 or after 99 rather, like you're not vibing with anything like that, you'd be pissed off paying $10 to go watch a bunch of fools with their boxers showing, bouncing around stage, mumbling and shit. Like, you will be upset. Versus, you know, different age group person, you going to a hip-hop show and fucking Mickey Fax and Jay-Z and Lupe Fiasco and Joe Budden and shit on there. You're going to be bored out of your mind because it's not what you're into. It's not what you came for. And
where the Migos at? I'm trying to turn up.
Right.
That's all they're trying to do. Like, that's the thing. Like, we really need to normalize those different type of niche markets. I mean, it's slowly becoming a thing, but I think it needs to be more talked about. Hip-hop should not be a giant umbrella of a genre. Because, I mean, you do have different things coming up like hip-hop, like country rap sort of stuff. And chill hop is slowly becoming a more normalized term, but it's still at the very bottom. I believe that we absolutely have to start talking about it more and categorizing ourselves a little bit differently. Every single other genre of music has a subgenre. And a lot of people, they want to say like, oh, I'm not putting myself in no box, I'm a rock star. Like, no, it don't work that way. Like, you can do that, and it's great to do that. It's great to be diverse. But to some point, you have to have some sort of categorization, or else you're never going to be able to reach your full potential. Like, you can still be a little bit everywhere and have just a primary category, and that's exactly what needs to happen.
You need to realize that for your market. Like John was saying, like, you can't be a fucking soft pop singing ass Drake person trying to go over some death metal beats and stuff. Like, you can, don't get us wrong, you can go do that shit by all means. Somebody try it and find some success and tell me how you did it. But let's think, you know, in a literal sense, you're not selling anything but Joker t-shirts and shit. Like, you're the Weird Al of the genre now.
Yeah, that's what you gotta run with. You gotta call yourself that and you gotta run with it. That's the entire thing.
But
for real,
the amount of success that you're going to have being in the lane that you're supposed to be in, being categorized in that lane, and, you know, it opens up the door for people who already enjoy what this is to maybe in some way run into you. You know, just off of it take nothing but a click here and a click there to end up in a whole different world. Trust me, we've all wandered down YouTube lane before. So, I mean, I think that it is something that is absolutely pivotal and necessary to give opportunity to a lot of these people who would otherwise never be able to obtain that opportunity because of our heavily saturated umbrella market.
Yeah, absolutely. It hurts a lot of people, like booking tours and everything too, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Every single time I try to go book a show somewhere, like anything that's not already like a club, if it's not like a nightclub or something, they don't want anything to do with hip hop half the time. Like, oh no, we automatically turn that away. But my style of hip hop does not work in nightclubs whatsoever. I'm not gonna come up there and be opening for Future talking about drug abuse and all this other shit. Like, it just don't work that way. And that's exactly the style that I go for personally. And like, I mean, I got love for all different types of hip hop. I listen to more trap than I do the stuff that I love.
Disclaimer: we not dissing nobody. We love all of it. Freaking disclaimer.
Absolutely, disclaimer.
But it just is.
We disclaimer. That's what's happening.
No, but like, we're just speaking to the fact that we're artists, and me and Time are, you know, sort of in the same bracket of artists, and have had it separate and both, you know, in tandem experiences with everything that we're talking about, like being at a show and being completely the odd man out, like feeling like the black sheep of the stage because you're going up there talking about something that, you know, it doesn't seem like it relates to anybody, and it's disheartening as hell to have a whole crowd of people stand up for an hour listening to all of this stuff, and then you get on and it's empty. Like, the only person standing up there is your auntie holding the camera.
Exactly. That's how it is.
It's something that can be avoided, and it's something that we can improve upon
and make it great, just like any other subgenre of any other type of music, because it was birthed out of something else. But for some reason, and I think maybe we should get into that next, or the question I would like to pose to Time, so that you can go off of that, is, first part of the question is, what do you think that needs to be done to create the atmosphere for this to be possible for hip hop? And the second part of that question is, why do you think it hasn't happened?
Well, what I believe needs to happen is just basically, it really, really comes down to the basics. When it comes to really anything in life, people seem to overthink shit like way, way too much.
Agreed.
To normalize something like this, literally, we just need to bring awareness to it. Like, in the broader scheme of things, people can be like, "Oh, that's ridiculous. We don't need that." But I'm sick of being categorized under the same category as artists that are on a whole different spectrum from me. We should form these kind of base categories and just roll with it. If you hear a term starting to get popular, use it. Like, if you think that really fits to what you need to do, then use it. Like, everybody has their own like little categories they can fit into. And like, even, it's weird, even like people like all these like newer age artists that are still underground, like Oliver and like Young Pinch and all these people, they all fit in the same category, but they sound like the other mainstream artists, but they aren't the mainstream artists because they're the underground artists, and that's what those people will go to that because that's what they're into. They like the whole atmosphere behind that. They don't want to go out and listen to Post Malone because everybody listens to Post Malone. Everybody's kind of watered down in that whole area, so they want to go and listen to Young Pinch or Oliver or somebody like that. And we really just need to start using the terms more often. I think it hasn't happened because everybody is just too stubborn about it. Like,
damn right. Say
like
that 6 more times.
Everybody is stubborn about everything. Everybody wants to act like, all these older dudes, they want to act like it's still the 90s. Once they find something they like, that's what they cling to, and that's what it is, and they don't want to hear any change. And it's even like that with the newer kids. When you say hip hop to a new kid, they think trap music. And it's just, we need to start really categorizing it, and we need to normalize that. We need to make it public on all social media profiles, what we stand for, who we are. You can't be claiming to be a rock star. Like, I understand that. Like, if you want to go out into that world and claim that, you could do that as much as you want, but I think it's really, really going to hinder your success. And I've seen that a lot recently. A lot of people, like younger artists, will like, diverse artist on their profiles, like, well, show me, because every single one of these songs is literally just you sipping lean, fucking coughing through half the shit and just going on. Like, that's cool and all. I think it's hilarious.
36 in my shit. 20.
Yeah, I listen to that shit way, way more than I listen to lyrical shit. People wouldn't believe me, but that's exactly what I do. But, like, if you're gonna claim to be diverse like that and then you're not gonna show proof, that just doesn't look right. Nothing lines up, and I think something needs to be done about that. You need to find a category that fits for you, something you can advertise and actually push properly, like alternative rock. An alternative rock band is going to sound like a lot of other alternative rock bands. And as much as you don't want to sound like everybody else, it's going to happen to an extent. Everything, it's 2017. Almost everything has been done. Like, there's seriously so many subgenres within all these other genres of music, and that's what hip-hop needs for it to grow properly. That's what I think. And it just really hasn't happened because everybody's stubborn about it. They don't want to post that publicly. They just want to say, oh, I'm diverse, oh, I'm this, but they don't want to put in work and show proof that they can be diverse, that they can do this. Like, fucking brand yourself right.
I agree with everything that you said to that point. But I also want to add that I do believe that there's almost a subtle amount of fear in that. Like, I implore anyone to be the pathfinder of something, be the matriarch or patriarch of a new style. Like, become what that is and create it into its own entity. If you're somebody listening to this and you feel like your lane has no practical, words that can be applied to it, or I want you to understand that there's something that you can put behind it that will take it to the level that it needs to take. But you have to be adamant and
very fluid in your task. Like anybody half-assing it in any form, like you don't deserve to make it. You know, you're not gonna make a song like Future and then listen to what we're saying here and brand yourself, you know, like that, and then not stick with it, push through it, and push to that next level. Like, I mean, this almost goes into a whole different topic, but be adamant about what it is that you're doing. Understand what it is that you're doing. And you don't have to be any form of, you know, mad scientist, rocket scientist, biochemist. Like, you don't have to be absurdly on the next level thinking. If you want to say something as easy as calling your genre trap hop, like, it's something that's catchy. Everything hashtags.
It works.
Everything literally hashtags.
Seriously, everything hashtags.
You could call your genre ass hop and it will hashtag and it will be trending for the rest of time. Like, there's nothing, everything is limitless is something that I definitely want to stress to anybody, and I try to stress to anybody, especially in this music thing. Like, we had this conversation earlier. If you make an album with fucking beats and the one word on it that takes it from a beat tape to an album is all the way at the end and you say titties, like, that is still something that we haven't seen done. That's still something that people will actually, if you push it the way that you need to and if you stand behind it, they're actually going to get behind it with you. And whether it's just in a form of satire, if you're dead ass serious about it, if you're Kanye Westing it, or like whatever it is that your intention is with it, as long as you get on board with it, stand behind it, define it, like give it its voice, give it an understanding for other people to gravitate towards. If you're going to be a lyricist, and like show that off, and don't be an asshole like most lyricists.
Oh, I hate that shit. I'm a lyrical, miracle, spiritual individual.
Jay-Z said it best on 444. I would say I'm the greatest rapper, but it's pointless like saying I'm the tallest midget. Like, nobody fucking cares, dog. We all are short. We all do this shit. And remember to also, if you're trying to give birth to a genre, or if you're trying to break your way into it, don't step in with your ego above your fucking waist with deodorant stains on it and shit.
Yeah, fuck. You're just gonna ruin it straight out the gate.
It's gonna die.
That's the thing. Like he said, like you can create your own style, like your own genre, and it can catch on. And like he said, hashtag fucking everything. Like,
everything. Go
out and literally put that in your description of everything. If that's what you want to call yourself, people are eventually gonna catch on. One prime example of this I've heard of lately is something called Simpson Wave. And it's literally, it's vaporwave, except literally the only fucking thing different is that all the aesthetical, like the videos and everything on YouTube is just clips of Simpson, like Simpson episodes. And they call it Simpson Wave, and it's caught on. There's fucking hundreds of thousands of views on every single one of these videos.
That's genius.
Like you can build shit, but you have to constantly use the term if you plan to do that. And that's the only way you can properly get yourself out there. Because, I mean, if I'm looking to go listen to Simpson Wave, I'm going to look for that. Like, I'm going to type in specifically what I want to go to. And you have to brand yourself and categorize yourself correctly if you ever want to see a return on it. And that's just the way I see it. Like, you can be diverse as you want. You have to find one primary category and just call yourself that and just work with it. And you can be outside of the box. You can create your own shit and you can do that, but you have to understand the responsibility and the effort. Like, you gotta work for the shit, and you gotta go out. You gotta put that shit on all your bios, every description, all your tags. When you go and tag shit, you gotta put in the misspelled versions too, because dudes ain't gonna know it right straight from the jump. Like, dudes are still spelling my name wrong. Like, pull up like Tom Work, they got an H in it, like I'm a fucking leaf. Herbs and spices. Like, I ain't like that's how it be. Like, you gotta go out, you gotta tag all the misspelled shit, make it as popular as you can. And if you ain't getting numbers yet, you're gonna get them eventually. Just keep pushing. keep moving under that category and you'll be good. Like, you have to have something.
Define, and don't have fear in your definition of what you are, especially if you're creating something new. Nobody can tell you shit about something you created because you fucking made it.
Exactly.
Like, come on now.
Who are you scared of?
Yourself.
Yeah, for real. Everybody's so scared to fail, but like when it comes down to it, like, well, what the fuck did you do with your time?
Yeah.
Like, you don't think everybody else failed this at the top?
Yeah. Like, you're gonna fuck up, dog. Like, you're gonna run into some shit that, man, if I could disable the comment section on life for my music, like, I would adamantly appreciate that shit. But it's something that you're going to run into. You're gonna have haters, but you're gonna have just as many, or if not more, supporters in what you decide to do. But be adamant. That's the message here. The most horrible thing about hip-hop is feeling limited, because I don't know if what I make is gonna even be considered hip-hop at this moment.
Exactly.
Like, is hip-hop this over here? Like, is hip-hop this Silk Money trap that I'm bumping, or this Silk Money song that I'm bumping? Like, what is it that I'm going for? And remember, don't show love. Quit dissing shit. We all have a bad habit of it.
Oh yeah, for real.
Love things. Learn to love things. Learn to accept diversity. Learn to accept that there are changes and shit's going to be different. And, you know, you're not always going to be the hottest thing on SoundCloud, dog. Like, be open.
And don't let them Reverb Nation charts get to your head. I'm sick of that shit.
Because they paid to get there, I promise you. They paid an arm and a leg to get their shit on the front page.
Bob been #1 for 2 weeks.
2 weeks, bro.
There's a reason you don't see the big dudes on there, like.
Yeah. There's a reason it doesn't matter, man.
Don't let this internet shit get to your head, dog.
Like,
$20 and a hope and a dream, and you can have 1 million views, dog.
Absolutely. 100%. I mean, that's the thing. You got to categorize yourself. You're never going to see that shit.
Yeah.
Like, you see people like the Juggalos. The Juggalos, like, is perfect for that. That's exactly what they're going for, and that's exactly what they've achieved, and they've done it for, like, 2 decades
example.
now. Exactly. Like, it's its own little niche market, and they're fucking thriving from it. Like, when you hear like Juggalo rap or like Psychopathic Records, Magic Ninja or whatever, like, you automatically know what the fuck they're talking about, and that's what you expect. You don't walk into that show expecting Lil Yachty to jump out on stage. You don't walk into that show expecting J. Cole to come out. Like, you're there for a specific thing, and that's what you like, and that's what you expect, and that's what you paid for, and that's what it keeps everybody happy, and it keeps the artist moving in the right direction.
At any point, if y'all in the same grouping, their fans can become your fans and vice versa to them, and then they can bring in a whole nother team of people that they just know. Like, imagine a double XL list that comes out every year like the normal one does, but it's not just this one umbrella genre of hip-hop. There's like fucking 10 lists, and out of those 10 lists, it got the one for the trap hop kind of thing, got one for the chill hop kind of deal, it got one for the vaporwave kind of stuff. Like,
political hip-hop.
Yeah, political hip-hop, gangster rap, you know, some shit. Even if we go down to putting on for the producers and stuff, I hear what's that man's name? Sonny Digital. I hear him talking a lot about, he's speaking about making a producers union and stuff. I don't know how well that may take off or not, but, you know, if that option were available, having a 10-person double XL list, them same million views that they got on Ugly God's double XL freestyle.
Man, that's my dad, bro.
the same million views they got on Ugly God shit is the same million views that they would get if it was another list, and there would literally be no difference, but there is more content available to us as the consumers, because, you know, some of us are artists, but still at some point you're a consumer. You're gonna like somebody else. You're gonna want to be involved with somebody else. Like, having that as an option, having that's
what we need.
That's what we need to happen, and that's what can happen. And, you know, you get behind your brand, you get behind your genre, you really make a push for it, you can go to places. You can go to fucking Def Jam with this idea. Like, you can go anywhere and show them that I've made this ideology. This is ass hop. This is my shit. I made it up. It's a whole bunch of people, you know, on the wave now. I got fucking 500,000 followers.
Booty Gang disciples.
Yeah, you know, we made a whole squad.
I mean, you can do this. See, and Ugly God is a prime example of that. Like, I remember going like a year or two back, listening like when Water only had like 1 million, 2 million views. I was like, ooh. I was like, man. Even when like Lil Yachty started coming, anybody can do this, but you gotta find your lane, you gotta stick in it. Well, we probably about to wrap up, but like I said, literally anybody can do this. You just gotta go out, you gotta find your category, you gotta normalize it, you gotta go all out with it. I mean, seriously, you gotta take notice, like all these people that are coming up, they all fit in this one little clique. Like, I mean, in just a year and a half alone, like Lil Pump has single-handedly claimed the title of being Trapper of the Century. Like, you guys can do this. Like, go out there, just put the shit on your bios, put the shit in your tags, all your
Let that fear go. Let that fucking fear go. Let that shit out the window, because it's going to stop you from doing anything. Embrace them butterflies at your first performance. Let that shit be a part of you, for real. Let that fear go.
Well, feel free, anybody listening, feel free to drop some topics in the comments, any sort of questions, anything you have for the next episode of Verbaliz. We're going to try to make this a bi-monthly thing. We'll definitely keep you guys posted. Now, I'm Tom Wirt.
I'm C-Bay.
All right, thank you for listening.